Good afternoon and welcome. This is Miss Thomas with Mckinley Middle Magnet, and I am the Magnet Site Coordinator at the best magnet school in East Baton Rouge. I want to tell you guys a little bit about it before we get started with our wonderful guests. We are a visual and performing arts as well as academically themed program. You do have to have a 2.5 GPA and basic and above test scores to get in, and we have a lot of fun at our school. We add a little bit of academics in all of our arts classes and a little bit of arts in all of our academic classes. So we are very data-driven, cross-curricular school. We have our wonderful guests. I've got a nice little mix of some Mckinley parents, Mckinley students, some community partners, a little bit of, talk from teachers and our administrators. But first, I want to welcome our wonderful principal, Dr. Rohan.
Good evening.
Dr. Rohan began her journey with Mckinley Middle as an assistant principal, had a brief little hiatus at another school, but joined us as our wonderful principal, and we are just so lucky to have her. We also thank you, Dr. Rohan. We also have our Dean of Students, Miss Buckner.
Good evening, everyone here.
And Miss Buckner, how many years have you been at McKinley?
I started at McKinley in 1999 as an 8th grade English teacher, and I have been involved with McKinley since 1999.
That's amazing, and we're so lucky to have you as our Dean of Students.
And I will never go anyplace else.
Yay.
Flat out.
Awesome. I'd like to hear. We also have our talented drama teacher, Mr. Shane Stewart.
Yeah.
Hello.
And how long have you been with McKinley, Mr. Stewart?
This is my 8th year at McKinley. 2014, I think I started, so 8 years.
Nice,
8 years out of my 17 years of teaching, so about half.
Nice, very good. We're very lucky to have him. We also have one of our community partners, a representative from one of our community partners, Playmakers of Baton Rouge, and that is the Executive Director, Mr. Todd Henry.
Hey guys, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. We also have an alumni, and this student is very dear to our hearts. She was actually one of McKinley Middle's Student of the Year, and she won the International Thespian Festival acting competition, and that is Gwen Rowland.
Hi guys, thanks for having me.
And you are a senior at what school?
Baton Rouge High.
Awesome, awesome, good deal. And we have 2 students. One of them has been there for a little while, and another one is joining us brand new. So we have a mix of McKinley Middle students here. We have Miss Salisbury and her son, Mr. Donovan Thomas. How are you guys this afternoon?
Doing well. Glad to be here.
Wonderful. And Donovan, are you in 7th or 8th grade?
I'm in 8th grade.
8th grade. All right, so we have somebody coming in and somebody coming out. That's awesome. I love those 2 different perspectives. And then last but certainly not least, we are joined by the Muellers. And Carmen is a brand new McKinley Middle. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
I'm Carmen Mueller. I am an actress, a singer, a dancer, and a musician. And so far, I am loving McKinley. It is so fun, so many welcoming faces. I'm so excited.
Wonderful.
Glad to
So
have
happy
you.
to have you there. And Mr. Mueller, thank you so much for joining us as well.
Glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
All right. So let's get started without further ado on some of these questions. I'm going to start with one that's a freebie. Anybody can reach out and answer this one for us. Can someone tell us something unique about the school, something that's different about McKinley Middle that you don't find anywhere else?
Well, I think it's unique. McKinley's unique because of their travel program, how the kids can travel abroad and, it's just help with their educational experience. I was really interested when I heard that.
Yeah, nationally and internationally. That's
Right.
really cool.
Right.
Yeah, it is really cool. We take a lot of trips all over the place, and we highly encourage families to go together. So it's not just for the students, it's for family involvement. We've even had people bring little brothers and little sisters on these trips. So I think that's
That's the whole
really
tribe. Awesome.
Yeah, and that's something that you're going to find across the board at McKinley. We are very family oriented. In fact, I often refer to our students and our faculty and everybody involved with McKinley as part of the McKinley family. Because once you come in, you're a part of this thread forever. All right, I want to throw this one out to one of the students. And really all three of you can answer this. I know, Gwen, it's been a little while since you've been there, but can you give me a description of a day in the life of our students? Let's start with Donovan.
I'd say it's very organized. The schedule, when you're going to different classes, it at first is something, of course, to get used to, but at the end of the day, it only takes at least 2 days. It doesn't even take a week to get used to. Me personally, in 6th grade, I was confused. It said so many room numbers on my schedule, and I didn't know where to go, but the teachers, they helped me out, and fortunately, I was able to find my classes, and yeah, so it's a really good schedule and everything, and the teachers make sure you get where you need to go safely.
Yeah, that's a very good response. I know that we put a lot of emphasis, especially on that first couple of days of school, for teachers to be in the main hallway to help you guys find where you're supposed to go, and then the older students help as well. Under normal circumstances, we would have our summer enrichment program, and Ms. Buckner is actually in charge of that. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that? Hopefully that'll be something that we can resume this year.
Hopefully we do. Our summer enrichment program focuses on the upcoming year's international trip. Excuse me. So, and we incorporate not only the 4 core areas, which are science, social studies, ELA, and math, we also incorporate drama, music, and art into the program. And the entire focus is not only on enrichment for the students, but it's also focusing on the particular culture where we would take that trip.
Yeah.
And it's really cheap.
Yeah, I don't think you can find another summer camp in Baton Rouge that is as equal in value of price, for sure. So Carmen, you're coming to us as a brand new student. I know that you haven't actually been on campus yet, but can you give us a description of what it's been like as a virtual student at McKinley Middle Magnet?
Of course, yeah. I hit fuse this new times, then my mom wakes me up with a smoothie and my dad with hugs. I get ready for the meet, and once I go on, I am greeted by the smiling faces of my teachers each period. Next thing I know, it's time for lunch. My mom makes home-cooked meals almost every day, so that's what I have. And once I'm done, I go back on the meets before school ends. And once it does, I finish up my assignments and my material I have learned. Then I play with my dog, and I might play piano or my electric guitar. And afterwards, I'll have dinner with my family. We'll talk about each other's day, and then we play a little bit of board games, or we'll watch a movie, and then I get ready for bed.
That's awesome. You have a packed schedule.
It's really organized. It's really scheduled.
Carmen, I'm coming to move in with your family, so.
Yeah, can I come too?
We gotta be organized. We have to have structure. This girl is so busy that I don't want you guys to think we live on a time slot basis, but it's kind of time slotted.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it kind of is. Another thing that I hear a lot of feedback from McKinley parents is that they're amazed at how well-rounded our students are. We have students, I mean, a lot of times there's a stigma that you can either be an academic or you can be in the arts, or you can either play sports or you can do theater or choir or dance. And that's simply not true. You can take part in all of these areas, but it does require you being very organized. So that's really awesome, Carmen. You're going to be an amazing fit at McKinley, and we're really proud to have you.
Thank you so much.
So speaking of well-rounded, Gwen, can you give us that description of what a day in the life of a McKinley Middle student was those many years ago?
Yeah, definitely. I remember, I don't know if this is still a thing, but I remember we'd always start our day off with Mustang moments. Is that
Yep.
still a thing? Yeah.
It's now incorporated into your first period because we're on a 7-period day.
Oh, things have changed. Okay.
A little bit, just a little bit.
Just
Yeah,
to say it.
so I would always take the bus. So I would have to get up early in the morning, and I'd take the bus, and then I would, my Mustang moments, I remember one year was Mr. Shane Stewart. And so we had a really special playwriting class. And so I really loved that there were like kind of opportunities for special classes at McKinley Middle. And then I'd go about my day, and in my day, there was an A day and a B day. So it was a 5-class schedule, but I guess things have changed. So some days it would be more math and science, depending on like how your schedule was split up, and some days would be almost entirely arts, but I guess now it's everything every day. But I know that I was taking 2 theater classes and a dance class, and also like in addition to all of my math and sciences, so my English and my math, which I was able to skip like 2 or 3 grades in math because of my test scores. So once I got to Baton Rouge High, it was really fun because I didn't have to repeat any sort of math that I took. I could just move straight into algebra 2. So that's a fun time. And then I also got to skip a grade in science. And so I didn't have to take earth science. I skipped straight to physical science, and I didn't have to take physical science when I was at Baton Rouge High. So that gets you some credits ahead at Baton Rouge High, and then at Baton Rouge High you can skip credits, and then that gets you some credits ahead in college.
Absolutely.
You know, youngins are probably not thinking about college right now, but that is on my brain because I'm a senior. But yeah, after my kind of full day of classes, I would go to a rehearsal. I'd have an after-school dance rehearsal, or I'd have an after-school theater rehearsal, and then usually I would go straight from that rehearsal to an out-of-school rehearsal for another dance or another theater project, like things I would do at Playmakers, one of our partners. So yeah, and then I'd go home and I'd eat dinner and I'd take a shower and do my homework and go to bed.
Yeah, that sounds like a really busy day too. So we do still have all those same art electives. The only thing that's really changed there is that you get to go to them every day instead of every other day. And I have to admit, you know, change is a little bit scary, and I was a little bit concerned about it, but I will say that it has been a really great thing for our students because, you know, joyful things that make them joyful, they get to do every day, and some things that maybe that they need a little extra practice with, they get to do that too. So it builds a more confident, well-rounded student. And that's been a really awesome welcome change to that. So Gwen, would you say that your time at McKinley Middle has prepared you for your time at Baton Rouge High and beyond?
Definitely, like 100%.
That's awesome. That's what we like to hear. I love that feedback. So I want to move on to our community partner with Playmakers. Playmakers is a company that I actually worked with pre-teacher career. That was one of my first jobs right out of LSU Theater. And Todd is a really good family friend of ours, and I really appreciate you, spending the afternoon with us. And I thank you so much for your community partnership with McKinley Middle. I know it's been an amazing thing for us. So how has it impacted you guys?
Well, I would say, first of all, I mean, we're always competing for kids and where they're going and what programs they're taking, and really having those personal relationships with a lot of the staff members at McKinley has been such a blessing because they've been able to sort of filter into our programming. And really, I want to say, if I can backtrack just a little on the first question that you asked about what I think makes McKinley special. When you walk into McKinley Middle for the first time, you are honestly blown away by the facilities. Playmakers tours schools all around Baton Rouge. We go into Chalmette, Ascension Parish. That y'all's theater is probably bigger than most theaters in Baton Rouge. You have a black box, a dance studio, just the amount of resources. This little kid who grew up in the country would have died to be a part of. And it is such just a little jewel in our community. And we partnered, our stage, the Riley stage at LSU had flooded. And we reached out, and Dr. Rohan was so gracious and allowed us to come to Little Prince there last year. And we had Alliance come in that had never even been to McKinley. And they were just like, wow. And these are kids that are going to some very high-end private schools. I won't name names, but they were just so impressed by what y'all have to offer there. But back to the original question you just asked me, they're so important. I mean, we're in the arts. We are always sort of struggling and trying to find partnerships. If I need a set piece, I can call Will or Shane and ask, like, hey, do y'all have a stair unit I can come get? If y'all need a costume for something, it's so important because every dollar means so much when it comes to the arts. And so without these community partnerships, we wouldn't really survive a lot of the times. It really helps us keep our numbers down budget-wise, but we also grow our numbers with the talented kids that may not be aware of Playmakers. And hey, their teacher's telling about it. They got to see a free performance at Mckinley Middle. We've done Shakespeare workshops out there. I mean, it's so incredibly important. And just working together, especially during these difficult times, it's how we're all going to get through this, and that's together.
Absolutely. And we're so thankful for that partnership. Mr. Stewart is actually directing a show for Playmakers right now, and several of our students audition throughout the year. So I'd say there's been an uptick in McKinley students coming to these, auditions that you've been having with Playmakers, and that's really awesome. It was always my goal as the drama teacher that I wanted our kids to be able to go out there and compete with people who've been having private lessons their entire life. And I definitely feel like our students are able to hold up next to those. And we really just appreciate those opportunities to get out there and get involved in the community theater.
Well, I will say we always get the compliment that when our kids go outside and go to college, because we are housed at LSU, when our kids audition for LSU, they can always tell a Playmakers kid. And when McKinley kids come audition for us, we can always tell it's a McKinley kid from the level of training that they are receiving.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for that. So I want to ask some administrative questions, get into some of the nitty-gritty, questions some parents might be having. And I'm going to start with, what would you say to a parent of an IEP 504 plan student or child who is interested in your program?
I would strongly, Ms. Thomas, and everyone listening, to inform parents, don't let that deter you from coming to McKinley. We have an amazing guidance counselor, which is Ms. Hardy, who takes on the 504 role and responsibility. She's ensuring that those kids come to us getting their appropriate accommodations, making sure that the teachers are aware of those accommodations. So just because your child may be labeled as 504, we don't ever want that to hinder you from enrolling your child at McKinley, because just because they have an accommodation, it does not mean that they cannot do. We meet the children where they are. We bring them up to speed to where they need to be. The teachers truly love, and I'm not just saying this as the principal of McKinley, teachers truly love the children that they come in contact with on a daily basis, which means that they will individualize that instruction for that child. So not only will the child receive his or her accommodations according to the law, they will also be accommodated by their individual teachers. The teachers actually get to know their students. They get to know what their students need. They know how the students learn. They know everything about that kid. And so it's kind of tailored to the individual student. So just because a kid is on the 504 plan or receiving any type of accommodations, don't ever let that stop you, because McKinley is the place where you would want your child to thrive.
Absolutely. Another question for the administrators. And we know that we are going through some difficult times. Nobody could have predicted that the school year would have ended the way it did last year or begun the way that it did this year.
Yes, ma'am.
But how has McKinley managed to keep academics and student engagement high during the pandemic?
So from day one, we started instruction August the 10th. August the 10th, we monitored. We have an online program called Little Sis. And what Little Sis affords administrators to do is to be able to pop into different various classrooms. And so we can see if the kids aren't in class, and then we'll be able to call. So the very first day of school, if you walk down the administrative hall of McKinley Middle Magnet, you heard every person in that office on the phone with a parent trying to figure out, how can we support you? How can we help you? How can we get your child logged in so they'll be accounted for at school so they can get whatever they need? We've been, I would not tell you a word of untruth. It has been a challenge. However, with the administrative team at McKinley Middle Magnet, we have all pulled together. We have put in countless hours. We have beat each other's brains to death trying to run different scenarios, trying to figure out if we can do it this way or if it isn't working. So we try to do everything we can to make sure that our children were successful in terms of virtual learning. We encourage the teachers, make sure if you have a kid that's not being successful in your classroom, contact the parent. Don't allow the parent to contact you first. Go ahead and be proactive. and reach out to that parent to find out what it is that we can do. All of our teachers have web pages, so that has been a great plus with our kids being virtual. So the parents are able to log in or to go to the teachers' individual websites to see exactly what's going on. They can stay current with upcoming assessments, upcoming projects that are due, whatever it is that the children are in need of and the due dates, they are able to successfully go to the webpage to see that. Teachers have just been truly amazing. They have gone over and beyond to try to accommodate all of our kids because we don't know. And one thing I tell teachers, we have to kind of be mindful in the times in which we are today, simply because we don't know the backstory in how our kids are coming back to us. They left us one way in March, but that's not how they are currently right now because we don't know what they've experienced. And so even that they are virtual, we still have to teach, but we teach with compassion. We teach with love. We teach with care and concern. So to me, even though the kids are being virtually taught at home, our teachers are still showing huge concerns. They are still implementing things into the children's, embedding positive mindsets into the kids, getting them acclimated. And so on Monday, which is the 28th, is our first day of hybrid. And so we will start phasing our kids back into school. And one of the things that we discussed today in our faculty meeting, we have to get the kids back acclimated. We've been out of school since March 13th. That has been over, I think, 6 months now?
That's a long time.
Yes, that has been truly a long time to be without instruction. And so we're gonna have to now work, and it's nothing out of the norm for the teachers at McKinley or the administrative team at McKinley. We just got to make sure that we get our kids back into that learning mode, and then ultimately letting them enjoy, because what I want to ultimately happen is to get us back to where we were in March. Right now, we can't do any after school activities due to COVID, but eventually we will get back to where we were. But as far as the virtual instruction goes, our kids have superseded beyond expectation.
They absolutely have. Thank you for that. And
I'd like to mention something real quick on that note. Now, with all this adjustment to virtual learning, it's understandable that some kids are going to be struggling. And I just really appreciated noticing that all these teachers were offering extra credit opportunities for these kids to kind of boost their grades academically. I thought that was awesome.
Thank you.
So I just wanted to
And let me piggyback on that also. And so when we looked at our student data over the summer, we identified kids who could possibly have gaps, achievement level gaps. And so what we've done, we've implemented math labs. And so if a kid was a struggling kid, we've provided opportunities for that child to receive additional math assistance, whereas a parent won't have to go and pay an outside tutor. Your child, when he or she comes to school, they're given that support and that extra time that they need in order to get whatever the skill is, or to bridge or close whatever gap that they're experiencing. We understood that school has been closed since March, and we wanted to make we wanted to get the biggest bang for our buck. And so we, again, put our heads together. We came up with different plans. Also, once school returns, when they are face-to-face, teachers inside of their classrooms, they provide individualized instruction for small groups of students. And so that is another way that students are able to get more assistance and are able to close gaps within the classrooms. And so that's a form of support as well for parents, because you don't have to go and try to pay an outside tutor. We are doing everything that we possibly can while we are there at the school.
Absolutely. That's my dog. Sorry, y'all.
It happens.
That virtual life, you know how it is. All right, so Mr. Stewart, I want to direct this question toward you. Piggybacking on that virtual question, how have you integrated the magnet component into your virtual learning?
Well, we are, a visual and performing arts magnet. So I think one of the things I've been most impressed with is our faculty and the way we've sort of adapted to provide more than just you would get at a regular school where it's like, hey, we're going to give you, learn this music or learn this dance. We're still striving to do some sort of performances. We have virtual theater performance that we're in rehearsal for right now with Donovan and Carmen can tell you that. We're working on plays in class. We're rehearsing every day, and we plan on performing those virtually. Miss Flowers has talented music, and me and her are working on a play called The Show Must Go Online, which Todd has just done. We got the inspiration from him, but it's another virtual music / show. I know that Mr. Thomas is working with musical theater to do live virtual shows and things like that. I know Miss Victorian is doing dances and preparing dances to be seen in a virtual format, whether it's on YouTube or Zoom or whatever thing we use. And I know Miss Johnson is also working with Mr. Thomas as well on those things. And then to me, that's the bigger difference. I think a normal school would not be striving to still give the kids an opportunity to perform, because that's where they learn at is by actually doing the activity or doing the art or the craft. If you're just studying it, it gets, especially with virtual, if we're just, hey, here's some Shakespeare history, the Globe Theater, blah, 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 the kids are going to shut down. So we as a visual and performing arts department have been striving to really make sure that we still focus on performance. That's, I think, key.
And if I could just say on top of what Shane just said, it has been a challenge to try to do performing arts in a virtual world. But I think in a way, we are teaching our students and these kids the resiliency of the arts and making something new happen. And instead of just being spoon-fed, oh, we're doing this show, it's, hey, I can't be right in front of you to help you with this. You got to make it happen for yourself. And that is what happens when you get in the real world. You have to create your own art. You have to create your own opportunities. You have to make things on your own. And I think that is sort of a silver lining of all of this, is they are learning the resiliency of art.
Right. And I think to connect that to what Ms. Thomas said earlier, because Ms. Thomas used to be a theater teacher at our school as well before she was our magnet coordinator. But, she said we always strive to make sure that our kids were ready for whatever professional setting they go into. And that's what we do by doing that, by showing them that the arts will continue and this is how you can do it. This is how you keep striving to go forward. We don't want to just die where it's at. So we show them that professional opportunities are out there, whether it's live or virtual or whatever it is, through their training. So.
And just to piggyback on that, that's one of my favorite things about being at McKinley, and to say that, it's what to me sets a McKinley student apart from everyone else. These kids are the problem solvers. These are the kids who aren't afraid of a challenge. These are the kids who step up to the plate, and if somebody says it can't be done, they figure out a way to make it happen. And I think that that is something that you only get by virtue of being involved in the arts. Maybe it didn't work, this particular dance step that I was working on didn't work this time. I have to work that much harder to make it work the next time. Maybe I didn't quite nail that monologue, or maybe that something broke on set and I've got to figure out a way to make it work because there's an audience out there. The audience doesn't go away. Those are the ones who step up to the plate and problem solve. And I think that that is a skill that you translate to all areas of your life. I didn't start in education. I started in theater. And what drew me to education was the same thing that drew me to theater. And that problem solving, the fixing issues, the listening to people, seeing where the issues are and fixing them, that's really an important skill that you can translate to all areas of your life.
Yeah, it always amuses me when we have to do our lesson plans and they have these little teacher phrases on there like higher order questions and things like that. I'm like, we do that every day in theater. Like they have to problem solve. They have to, what if this were a real life situation and things like that. And what the visual and performing arts does is it like Elizabeth says, it makes them more capable of doing that sort of thing in their regular ed classes, in their maths and sciences and things like that. When they're asked to think outside the box, well, they have real life experience with that from doing it on a stage, Yeah,
I heard a great quote yesterday that talking about theater and the arts, and we don't practice something until we get it right. We practice it until we can't get it wrong. And I think that is like such a great quote. And that is, most of these kids may not grow up to be actors or artists, but they learn that through the arts, is that it's not, oh, okay, we got it. No, until we can't get it wrong. And that's what it really prepares you for in life.
That's
And I think with the arts and talented theater and all these courses that are available, I think what a kid can take away from that at the end of the day is just strong public speaking too. You know,
Absolutely.
speaking in front of folks, which is really hard to do for a lot of people. And I think that's just one strength that you're going to get from that.
Yeah.
I'm terrible at science, but I made it through all of my LSU science labs because I wasn't scared to talk in front of the crowd and present the lab
There you
report.
go.
So-
Exactly.
I can remember Gwen Rowland coming to me in 6th grade, and she's this little nerdy girl with like teeth sticking out, glasses like this, and I was like, man, she just got up there and did it. No shame, you know. It's such an awkward age when you're in middle school, but just the arts, they give you that no fear mentality of, I'm just going to put myself out there. If I make a mistake, that's okay. We'll get through it and move on. Yeah, it's something.
Yeah, and I think someone said a few minutes ago, I don't remember who, but it does ultimately help because it spills over into the core classes. And so whereas a kid could have been afraid in math to ask for assistance from the teacher, having that exposure gives them that confidence that they need in order to ask the question in front of their peers.
That's exactly what I was about to say. Especially in this virtual format, it's a lot harder to kind of like find the confidence to like unmute yourself and then like raise your hand and ask a question, or like even doing discussions in English. And I found that that's really has helped me kind of letting go of that fear of like, oh, it doesn't matter, like if someone thinks you're dumb, like whatever, you understand the question now.
Yes.
I like
And
that.
I can actually attest to that, because there was a time when I would encourage Donovan to ask questions, you know, talk, let the teacher know when you don't understand. But I have seen such a huge improvement in him over the last 2 years since he's been at McKinley, because you all empower the kids to feel a certain way, to have that confidence. And it comes from you, the persons on this screen, you know, from the top, from the principal onto everyone else. It's a team effort. You encourage the kids to be empowered and let them know that, hey, you are your own individual and this is what you can do. And now his confidence, I can hear him when he's in class, because I work here from home, and I can hear him asking questions. I can hear him having dialogue with the teachers. So you're absolutely right. The arts will just kind of enhance everything. It's like a domino effect.
Right.
That's amazing. So guys, this question is for our parents. Why would a parent who's on the fence select this school as their final choice?
I can answer that. I was going to go back and say, just visit the campus. Check out how impressive the facilities are. Talk to the faculty. I think by us doing that, we were sold. I mean, it was our first choice originally, but to visit the campus and, you know, talk to everybody, we were excited. We couldn't wait. So,
and one of the things, Mr. Mueller, that I always tell Ms. Thomas, or have told Ms. Thomas, when she's recruiting and a parent wants to come visit, just tell them to pop in. We don't put on a dog and pony show. What you see on a daily basis is what we do every single day. You don't have to have an appointment. Just stop in on a drop of a dime and ask Ms. Thomas, hey, may I have a tour? And you'll see exactly what's going on at McKinley. So we do it every day. It's what we do. Our kids love coming to school. We are probably the only middle school in East Baton Rouge Parish where we literally have to beg kids to go home in the afternoon.
Definitely.
They love us so much, I kid you not, they just always want to be at the school. They find reasons to stay after school.
I'm so impressed with the school. I am so impressed.
Thank you so much.
And I can add to that, I myself have noticed it's not just about the academics, it's outside of academics, it's outside of the arts, it's outside, McKinley goes beyond that. I have seen McKinley encourage students to show respect to one another. They teach children morals and how to interact with one another. I've seen young men, this is what I've seen, not what I've heard. When I've gone to McKinley, I've seen a young male student open the door for a female student. Yes, chivalry is not dead at McKinley. So that is definitely a deal breaker if you're on the fence about your child going to McKinley, they will be very well rounded, and it's your child as a whole that's being fed into, not just portions.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I love that. So students, what do you like most about the magnet program at McKinley Middle, which is just the whole school?
Can I go?
Yeah.
The thing I like most about the magnet program is that the students are taught with fun learning academics while still having incorporated visual performing arts. I think that's very impressive about the school.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And speaking of impressive, I gotta say this, and I don't even know if she knew that I was gonna bring this up, but our Carmen was just recently in a movie that premiered not too long ago called Tulsa. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that experience?
Of course, yes. It was very fun, a very out of the box role. I had to play the role of a mean girl, which was a little different, but everyone was nice on set. It was a really fun experience for me because it was my first time being on an actual set of a movie. It's very cool. It's a very cool thing to do. And especially for a first time, I was pretty young. I think I filmed it like early last year. And then I was coming out this year. I'm glad it came out though due to COVID and it wasn't too stalled.
And you guys are coming from BRCVPA, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, we get a lot of students from BRCVPA. Donovan, what school did you come from? Oh, you might be muted.
Yeah, he's muted.
I think he's too far away from the mic, yeah.
What school did you come from, Donovan?
Also came from BRC.
You also came from BRCVPA. What about you, Gwen?
I also came from Baton Rouge Center.
Oh my goodness.
That's awesome.
Let me ask a question. Where are y'all planning on going to high school?
Baton Rouge High.
Baton Rouge High? What about you, Carmen?
Yes, we were planning on going to Baton Rouge High.
Yeah.
Gwen wasn't planning to go, but she went anyway, I guess.
And she's loving it.
Absolutely.
I haven't decided where I'm going to high school yet.
Hey, I went to high school with Todd.
Oak Forest Academy, me, Louisiana.
What a small world.
That's your country.
All right, so let me ask another question for our parents. What were you looking for in a school that you were able to find at McKinley Middle that you could find nowhere else?
I'll take that one. I was looking for teachers that were interested, invested in my child like me. It makes a difference when you have someone that takes an interest in your child and takes an interest in what they're teaching your child. And I have found that at McKinley. I've had some of his teachers from sixth grade, each grade, sixth, seventh, and this grade, have gone out of their way to make sure he understands material, to make sure that there's no issue with comprehending, or whether it be math problems. And that is what just makes McKinley, sets McKinley apart. These teachers and instructors go far and beyond. And it's not just the teachers and instructors, it's the administrators as well. Like I said earlier, the principal, very much so open door policy, very approachable. Everyone is a team. It's a team atmosphere.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And I will say, I'm not a parent, but I know just from relationships with Playmakers kids and personal relationships with the staff, your kids, when they leave McKinley, keep in touch with, like, y'all meant so much that they let you know where we're going to college. And I got in here, Miss Thomas, or, hey, I have this, I want to ask your advice. And that's not something you see nowadays. Like, and that I think is such a special part of the McKinley faculty.
And that's so true, Mr. Todd, because I can't tell you how many kids leave us, but they come back and they always tell us, high school is nothing like McKinley. Can we come back? No, you cannot come back. We need you to keep going forward. But they love it. They always want to come back. They want to keep in touch with us. We still have kids that's in high school now emails us, just letting us know that, you know, hey, I'm doing X, Y, and Z, and we're okay. So I do think that that's good. And it lets us know that we've done something to touch their heart, and we were an inspiration in their lives.
Exactly. I was going to say that I know a lot of my friends, if they saw a teacher from their middle school in public, they would run the other way screaming. But here I am on a Wednesday evening, sitting here with two of my teachers and some of my administrators from my middle school. And I still do things with both Mr. Stewart and Ms. Thomas regularly, along with playmakers. And if I need help with a monologue, I can still call Mr. Stewart and Ms. Thomas. And so, yeah.
You're gonna make me choke up. Stop.
I know, right?
Is someone cutting onions in here? I don't even know. Well, guys, I do want to ask another question, the same question, but from the administrator's perspective. Why would a parent who's on the fence select this school as their final choice?
Well, just as I think Ms. Salisbury was just saying, and then Ms. Buckner, I'll give the floor to you and you can answer that question also because you were a parent.
Yes, ma'am.
But we educate the entire child. We go over and beyond. We treat children when they come to us as if they were our own. Our teachers put in countless hours trying to make sure everything is prepared for the kids' arrival, making sure we have teachers on campus that if a kid is in need of something in their personal lives, we have teachers that's going to make sure that they get that. So not only are we just there for a paycheck, we're there because we genuinely love and care about the kids. We genuinely care about what it is that we're doing. We just truly care about each and every student that comes in our door. So if a parent is on the fence, again, all we would have to do is just simply say, come and visit us. What we do speaks for us. We wouldn't have to say a word, just come and visit. Just take a tour, a 10, 15-minute tour, and then they will make the decision. Just as Mr. Mueller stated when he came and he walked through the doors, that is the atmosphere, culture that we want to make sure that we continue to build and enhance upon. This isn't a dog and pony show for us. This is what we do every day. We love our babies. We treat them like they're our own. So I can go on and on about that, but I'm gonna yield now and let Ms. Buckner answer.
My turn, because I am Miss McKinley. I have been there since 1999. I absolutely love this school.
So do I.
I want to see it become a little Juilliard. I have so many visions for it. It's a wonderful place. So wonderful that I chose for my daughter to go to this school along with me. But I wanted her to go there because I knew she was going to get a well-rounded education. Mm-hmm. She was going to be exposed to so much more than just the 4 core, so much more for life. And I feel that has benefited her greatly. She's a senior in high school right now, and still holds on to her visual performing arts. She still has that little aspect going on. But McKinley's wonderful. It's a happy place. It's a wonderful place. And I'm there, and I'll never leave until it's time. Until it's time. But I would never be anyplace else. That's my heart.
Absolutely. McKinley Middle has been my work home for the past 7 years, and it's really difficult to imagine my life without it. I hope that's not anything that ever happens anytime soon. It's an amazing program with wonderful kids and an amazing work family, and I cannot sing its praises enough. And I know Ms. Buckner has that great perspective of having seen her child go through all 3 years there. And what high school is she at currently?
She's at Liberty High School right now. She's a senior at Liberty. Right.
Yeah, so a lot of our students matriculate back into the magnet high school programs, which I think is really awesome. So guys, I think that's going to about wrap it up. I do want to ask you guys one more question. And we're going to let everybody have one opportunity to answer that as well. What is one word that you would use to describe a McKinley Middle Mustang? We'll start with Mr. Stewart.
Can we skip me?
I threw a curveball. This wasn't on the
Yeah, list. I know. Well, with my experience with my students, especially, I find that they are dedicated. They are willing to do whatever you want them to do, and they're loyal and dedicated. I know there's two words, but I'm a cheat.
That's perfectly fine with me. There are no rules in a virtual forum panel discussions. There are, but you can say two. All right, Mr. Henry, can you give us a word just based on your experience with our McKinley Middle students?
I would say from the three definitely on the screen that I have worked with, exceptional.
Oh, I love that. Exceptional. That's a very good one. Dedicated, loyal, exceptional. I like that. Ms. Salisbury, Mr. Thomas, what do you think?
I would have to say committed. They are very much so committed to their learning. They're committed to each other as classmates. They're committed to themselves.
I love that.
I say studious because not that it's a bad thing, but the teachers are always on us about study. So you again, not that it's a bad thing, but it really helps with life learning skills as well, because when you study a lot, you master something, and when you master something, you become unstoppable. So I say studious.
I love that. Studious.
Love
Very nice.
it.
All right, Gwen, what do you got for us?
I know that we've said this a lot this meeting, but well-rounded. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, it absolutely applies. Absolutely. I love that. All right, Mueller's, what you got for us?
From my experience so far, I'll probably say that the kids here are very ambitious because there are so many clubs for you to try if you want to go out there and do something you haven't done before, like a newspaper club or an improv club. Stuff like that is just an out-of-the-box experience. So I think the kids are very ambitious here.
I love that, ambitious. And that's absolutely true. We have several clubs to choose from. I want to say the list is over 40 different options. And we actually have a club day built into our normal schedule. So students who are participating in after-school activities can still be part of our club day. All right, Mr. Mueller, what you got?
I let Carmen take the floor with that one. I'm right on board with Carmen. These kids are determined too. They set their mind on something, they see it through. So let me throw determination in the hat with all the rest.
Absolutely, I love that. I love that description. All right, Ms. Buckner, what you got?
Well, I wanted to do the Mustang pledge, which that's more than one word. But
Go
our
ahead.
kids are fun. No, our kids are fun. We have fun at McKinley. Our kids are fun. There are many times that we are cracking up in the office. It's fun. We have fun. Prior to COVID, our dances, our harvest ball, all the things that we did, we had fun. The kids had fun. So it's all about fun too.
Yeah.
It is, because life is a balance of things. And it's important that our students are having fun, because who wants to get up every day and go do something that makes them miserable?
Exactly.
I really appreciate our teachers and our students for making it a really fun atmosphere.
Yeah, there's rarely a day that goes by that I'm not like just literally side splitting laughing with these kids, whether it's online or in person. Like
they're fun. They're
fun.
fun.
Up with you. I know she's in your class because shoot. I'm like, they're having a good time. They're having a good time today.
A little bit too good of a good time.
Awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. And just out of curiosity, Gwen, do you happen to remember the Mustang pledge?
I'll start you, Gwen.
I know that it's
As a McKinley Mustang, I pledge to
Motivate
myself and others.
Yeah.
Understand
my
responsibility.
Yeah, you got it.
I know it's not the list of must
right.
Yes.
All right, the next one is show school
spirit.
That's right. Think
positively, or
approach. Each day
approach each day. Is this difficult?
with
Integrity.
Yes.
Like we're playing password or something on
Yeah.
it.
Keep it going.
And then never give up.
Never
under.
Never underestimate myself
There you go.
or others.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then
Give
Each
day
each day
my
my best. My
all.
You're all.
my all.
There's still one more letter.
Oh, one more. Gotta get the S.
Oh, S. I was like Mustang. Mustangs.
We have the S on the end. Strive.
Strive to
To
Do.
Poor Gwen.
Sounds
Yeah, no,
like
she's on the hot seat.
strive to do my best. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Hey, that's not bad for 4 years of not having done it.
No.
It's been a long time.
Oh my goodness, that was fun. Well, guys, this has been
I'm
fun.
sorry, Gwen. We put you on the hot seat.
Oh yeah. Actually, did you know that this is a fun fact about the school? That pledge is said every morning during our morning announcements, and it was written by our very own Miss Buckner.
Oh.
A long time ago, guys.
So guys,
Big
we've had so
mural
much
of
fun with you this afternoon. I hope that this has been an informative panel discussion for anybody who's interested in McKinley. But I will say this, if you have any questions or anything that you want to know about our program, I'm your girl. So give me an email at ethomas6@ebrschools.org. And you can visit our website at www.mckinleymiddlemagnet.com. We also have a very heavy social media presence. I don't think that a week goes by without some sort of post. So you guys can come and check us out on that. And then I also want to add, I'm not sure when this particular thing is going to air, but we are going to have our very first show of Mustangs in Motion. And that's going to be on September 29th at 7 p.m. That's going to be live stream from our YouTube channel and from our Facebook. And we're really excited to show you guys a little bit more about our program. Thank you everyone for joining us this afternoon. You are an integral part of what makes a McKinley Middle Mustang special. And we thank you so much for everything. And we hope that you enjoy the rest of your evenings. And that is a formal goodbye from my 10-pound toy poodle, Chester. And I think that wraps things up.
Good night, everyone.
Good night,
Bye-bye.
everyone.
Everybody have a good night. Thank
Have a
you.
nice day.
Thank you.